The Battle of Stirling Bridge was fought during the First War of Scottish Independence. On the 11th of September 1297, the forces of Andrew Moray and William Wallace collided with the combined English forces of John de Warenne, 6th Earl of Surrey, and Hugh de Cressingham near Stirling, on the River Forth. Here is a short story of this battle. In 1296, John de Warenne, 6th Earl of Surrey, defeated John Comyn, Earl of Buchan, in the Battle of Dunbar. King John Balliol surrendered to King Edward, the First of England, at Bracken on the 10th of July, and the Scottish landholders were made to acknowledge Edward's overlordship. In 1297, Moray initiated a revolt in northern Scotland, and by the late summer controlled Urquhart, Inverness, Elgin, Banff and Aberdeen. Wallace joined Moray near Dundee in September, and together they advanced towards Stirling. Stuart Reid described the place as traditionally seen as the linchpin of Scotland. Concurrently, Surrey had teamed up with Cressingham in England Berwick's capital and went to Stirling. Surrey's army advanced slowly and did not reach Stirling until the second week of September. By then, Moray and Wallace had already taken control of Abbey Craig. When the Surrey army approached the bridge, the English force numbered about 9,000 men, with 2,000 cavalry and 7,000 infantry. These seasoned soldiers had seen many battles and were well equipped for warfare. Their confidence stemmed from their experience and their belief in their superior numbers and training. The cavalry lined up neatly, their armor gleaming in the sun, and the infantry were placed in dense ranks with shields raised and weapons at the ready. They were a formidable sight, radiating confidence and readiness for battle. On the other side, Moray and Wallace's combined forces were considerably smaller, consisting of roughly 5,300 to 6,300 men. They assembled around 300 cavalry and 5,000 to 6,000 infantry, including a few hundred archers. Despite being outnumbered, they held a strategic advantage due to their position and familiarity with the terrain. Surrey was concerned about the number of Scots he encountered, separated by a long causeway and a narrow wooden bridge across the River Forth near Stirling Castle. Realizing that he would be at a tactical disadvantage if he attempted to ferry his main forces there, he postponed the crossing for several days to allow for negotiations and reconnaissance of the area. On September 11th, Surrey dispatched James Stewart and later to Dominican friars as envoys to the Scots. As reported by Walter of Gisborough, Wallace allegedly replied, "We are not here to negotiate peace, but to engage in battle to defend ourselves and free our kingdom." Sir Richard Lundy, a Scottish knight who switched sides to join the English through the capitulation of Irvine, proposed to flank the enemy by guiding a cavalry unit across a ford located 2 miles upstream, allowing 60 horsemen to cross simultaneously. However, Hugh de Cressingham, King Edward's treasurer in Scotland, convinced the Earl to dismiss this suggestion and instead opt for a direct assault across the bridge. The English knights and infantry led by Cressingham, with Sir Marmaduke Thweng and Sir Richard Waldegrave, began to make their slow progress across the bridge on the morning of the 11th of September. The small bridge was broad enough to let only two horsemen cross abreast, but offered the safest river crossing, as the Forth widened to the east and the marshland of Flanders Moors lay to the west. Wallace and Moray waited, according to the Chronicle of Hemmingberg, until as many of the enemy had come over as they believed they could overcome. When a substantial number of the troops of England had crossed, possibly about 2,000, the attack was ordered. The Scottish spearmen descended from the elevated terrain, with Wallace and Moray leading the charge. Their formations were tight and orderly, picking up speed to a rapid pace. The Scots swiftly advanced, repelling an attack by the English heavy cavalry, then launching a counterattack against the English infantry. They gained control of the east side of the bridge and cut off the chance of English reinforcements to cross. Being outnumbered, the English started to panic and flee.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
With no possibility of relief or retreat, many of the outnumbered English on the eastern side were killed, trapped in a bend in the river. Several hundred attempted to escape by swimming across. Many of his people were killed. The greatest triumph of the day for the Scots was the demise of the despised Hugh de Cressingham, who was unhorsed and killed as his men fell around him. However, one Yorkshire knight, Marmaduke de Thweng, quickly realised that the day was lost and led the English heavy cavalry to break through the encirclement. Their attack was effective in breaking through to the bridge, but his daring escape was also the last serious resistance of the English mass. After the escape of Sir Marmaduke Thweng, Surrey ordered the bridge to be destroyed, retreated towards Berwick, leaving the garrison at Stirling Castle isolated and abandoning the lowlands to the rebels. The contemporary English chronicler Walter of Gisborough recorded the English losses in the battle as 100 cavalry and 5,000 infantry killed. Scottish casualties in the battle are unrecorded, with the exception of Andrew Moray, who was mortally wounded during the battle and was dead by November. The Scots proceeded to raid the south as far as Durham, England. Wallace was appointed guardian of the Kingdom of Scotland and commander of its army. Yet, King Edward was already planning another invasion of Scotland, which would lead to the Battle of Falkirk.